Happy Sunday. It is July 6th and I am finishing up my third day of kind of focused workout here in the front yard. Beginning on 4th of July, we had a drop in humidity. So 4th of July, I worked out here 4 or 5 hours, and I'll show you what I did that day. So this whole area under the plum and all the way out through there was weeds of various sorts. There was some red clover, but there's only so much red clover I want to let grow. There was a lot of these things that are everywhere and they make me crazy. And I'm still going at those wherever I find them, as long as I have the patience to do it. Anyway, so it took me a good 4 or 5 hours to get all of this weeded, and then it was about maybe 6 or 7, maybe even 8 wheelbarrows full of the wood chips. So it was shoveling the wood chips, dumping them out, and then spreading them. But it looks really nice. I'm particularly happy with this stand of echinacea here, this purple coneflower that I think I had one growing and then it just multiplied. So that's pretty special. And these guys, I cut off a few of these last winter before everything got froze over, and I brought them inside and I kept them in water, the cuttings, all winter long, and then planted them back in here. And look, they're blooming. These gladioli have been nice. Next year, well, maybe I should thin them or separate them or something this winter. But yeah, so I'm very pleased with this. That was day 1 out here. I still have some persimmons hanging on, so keeping my fingers crossed. I did feed the plum tree and fed this guy a little bit too. And there's my poblano chilies, only 2 of them, but they're doing okay back here. And I'm getting black cherry and the coyote and the red Pisa date, I think these tomatoes are, and they're pretty good. I think all the pomegranates fell off. The pomegranate did not set any fruit, but that's okay. It bloomed a lot, so good for it. Deer have been back eating the cherry. What are you gonna do? So then on the next day, I came out here and I cut back and pulled out a bunch of stuff. Cut back all the motherwort and the wormwood and the mugwort. Just cut them all back. The mugwort and the motherwort will definitely come back. There are a few sunflowers out here. These were growing so well. They're like the mammoth ones, and of course the deer came by and chomped them off. That is a Tithonia, the red Mexican sunflower, growing very slowly. Grew it from seed. We'll see what it does. And various, some cosmos out here, a few little zinnias. This is where all the foxglove were. And I've been trying to give some support to these native yellow coneflower. They always get super floppy because they do get a bit of shade, so they're always leaning out that way for the sun. Catnip is blooming and the bees are just like crazy for it. I was wondering about if I needed to cut it back, and then I saw all the bees out here. So it's like, nope, they're staying for a while. Here's my butternut squash. A couple of them are growing in there, which is cool. I believe that these chilies were mislabeled. I got them from Southern Exposure Seed Exchange, and they were supposed to be jalapenos. These are definitely not jalapenos. And the growth habit of the plants is very small. I've never experienced jalapenos to grow like that. Then again, this fella could be taking a lot of the energy. And there's the first tall sunflower blooming, and there's another little rust-colored one back there. So I was clearing out all the borage except for a few, giving everything some room, staking up anything that was tall and floppy. This Dara has done really well. The Dyer's Coreopsis has done well. And here's the mountain mint, and of course the bees love the mountain mint when it's blooming. So it's very active out here during the day. Got all the poppies out, spread some seed while I was pulling them out in here, and then I saved some to sprinkle in later in the winter time. Still getting a couple of the black hollyhock to come. And I don't know how these ones are gonna do, if they're gonna put any blossom spikes up this year or not, I don't know. There's a few more out there as well. I picked a lot of the seed heads for the dill. Unfortunately, the timing of my dill and cucumbers for pickles is just not aligned this year. For whatever reason, the cucumbers have been super slow. I picked one from this guy, which is the poor plant had gotten chomped off by deer, but then it came back because it does. But anyway, so I don't know. Maybe some will come up from the seed I've been spreading. And this is some kind of, I think that's like a little, what you call it? Cantaloupe. I just put them in here for the heck of it to see if I could get them to come over onto the framework here, but I'm not sure they will. The cardinal climber is doing well though, as far as covering that up. I do have a few beets. They did make beets. The carrots are not that great. They're mostly a red carrot that actually doesn't taste that well. I thought I planted some other carrots in there too, but I'm only finding the red ones. So they're kind of a bust, but that's okay. Still have collards and kale. This sunflower bloomed first, so that was actually the first one. And some of these have been chomped off and then split and made new blossom spikes. Here's our Lesia pepper. Getting some peppers on it there, so I'm anxious to have those get red and see what they're like. So at night I cover everything up. I'm just not taking chances anymore with the stinking deer. This was a eggplant I bought. I can't remember what it was. See, these guys came back from being chomped. I'm hoping they won't chomp them anymore. I cut back all the beans that were in here to give these eggplant some space. They still are getting flea beetle damage, but they're a little bit bigger now. I'm not worrying about it too much. And we are getting a little eggplant there, so that's cute. But I didn't want to pull the green beans out because I know beans are nitrogen fixing and I wanted to leave the roots in the soil, so I just cut those all back. And I'm still picking beans from on either side of the peppers. I finally have started to get some squash after I realized I needed to uncover it during the day so the bees could pollinate. But I've gotten a few, not a huge amount, but that's okay. How much do I really need? And then my Tromboncino got eaten by the deer once, so I'm keeping those covered. They're growing in there. They're not growing as vigorously or as fast as I expected them to, but that's okay. I picked all the oats, and I'm tincturing from Milky Oats. Cucumbers are just really slow this year. Super duper slow. Not sure why. Another stand of dill that has outstripped the growth of the cucumbers. So, and I've picked a Brandywine, and this is the second one of the, I can't remember what they're called. Some kind of market something? I don't remember. But at least they're setting, and that's good. And this is some kind of winter squash that came up in here on its own, and I'm just letting it go. And then I've got those two over there that they're doing okay. And it looks like we're getting a second crop of raspberries. And I have seen Japanese beetles around. Not as much on these guys as I have seen other years, but we'll see. And this yuzu just keeps getting too tall. I've got to just keep cutting it back. And I don't know, are you ever going to bloom and have fruit? I do not know. But anyway, that's the garden this morning. It's doing okay. It weathered that nasty heat we had. And I think it and me have both appreciated the cooler, lower humidity days. I've got big plans for next year with putting the fence up, so maybe I won't have to do so much of the netting. Not too much in the back to show. Things are just kind of status quo back there. There's these little guys. Yeah, but if I do the fence, or when I do the fence, it's going to go all along the perimeter next to the walkway, and then all the way up, like along here, to enclose these two beds and across, which means I will have this space, which doesn't get as full a sun as the other areas, because if I stand here and look up, it's not too bad. I don't know what I'd grow in there, but oh yeah, so that's about it. I hope everyone else is doing well this summer. Crazy times here in the US, but what are you gonna say? Yeah, so have a great Sunday.